What's going on, hikers? In today's video, I am here to share with you 7 things that nobody tells you about backpacking. Welcome to the new studio, by the way. Haven't outfitted it yet. Not really sure how I'm going to do it, but stand by. More videos to come. Now, our mission here is to help you increase your quality of life, so that is the intention of this video, starting with the first thing that nobody tells you whenever you are backpacking, and that is you get out on a trail, you're by yourself, and for some reason your imagination turns into your worst enemy. You're laying there in your tent, maybe in your hammock, and you hear some pounding footsteps, and it's probably just a little squirrel. Or maybe you hear some rustling in the leaves or some branches snapping. Well, that may have just been the wind. So try to keep a level head out there. Usually there's not anything out to get you. I know, maybe bears, there may be other wildlife like mountain lions depending on where you are, but most of the time it's just your imagination. So level head, take it easy out there and just enjoy. Don't get in your own head and survive in advance. The second thing that nobody tells you about backpacking is walking uphill is hard, but I would argue walking downhill maybe even harder. Now, that may not be the case for you, but for me, going downhill really hurts my knees. And sometimes I got that backpack on and I'm lugging it up those hills and it is a calf burner. But coming down the other side of that mountain, I'm like, man, I'd rather be going uphill right now. And I'm sure that you're probably commenting right now, and a lot of you can relate to that exact same thing. I'll tell you one thing that really helps me. I have some right here. Let me just grab. Yeah. Something that may help you too is get you a pair of trekking poles. And you don't have to spend money on these if you don't want to. These specifically are the Gossamer Gear LT5s. You could get a cheap alternative on Amazon or Walmart, or if you don't want to spend anything, just break you a stick out there. And it takes some pressure off the knees. Now, I can't say that going downhill is still super easy with those trekking poles, but I will tell you, it takes quite the load off of your feet and off your knees and gets rid of some of that joint pain. So if you're not already using trekking poles, I'd highly encourage you to at least try them out and see if they're a good fit for you. The third thing that nobody tells you about backpacking, you hear about hiker hunger, and you may watch some videos and you hear about, oh man, I'm backpacking, I'm just ravenous out there, I'm starving, so hungry. Well, for you, that may not be the case, especially if you're just doing weekend hikes. Oftentimes, that hiker hunger really kicks in 2 or 3 weeks into like a longer trail. Maybe you're doing something like the AT or CDT or PCT or something that's going to take you a long time to complete. That's not the same as, me going out and hiking 5 or 10 miles a day during the weekend. It takes a while for that hiker hunger to kick in. So don't just expect to get out there and then all of a sudden you're starving to death and you can't eat enough, because you're probably going to be bringing too much food, to be honest. Now, I will tell you, I am a fan of bringing a little bit too much food, especially some extra chocolate while I'm out there. So don't be afraid to bring plenty of food, but that hiker hunger, it may not be kicking in for you just yet. The fourth thing that nobody tells you about backpacking is, even with your phone, even with your apps, even with your map and your compass, even with your GPS, your Garmin, whatever you got, it is so easy to get turned around. It's happened to me numerous times, while I'm out hunting or while I'm out backpacking or just taking a day hike. And it actually happened to me, like not last weekend, but the weekend before. And I made a video of it. Hopefully, I'm working on editing that right now, and it's coming soon to a theater near you. But I'll tell you real quick about it. So what was going on is I was finishing this section of the Sheltowee that I still needed to do, and I crossed the road, I'm following the trail, and then I hit the road and I'm like, well, there's no blaze on the other side. So I followed the road, and it's not the best marked trail, by the way, anyways. And then I get to another path that's on the other side of the road and walk on it for a while and see no blazes. And I'm like, what the heck? Where is this trail going? It just stopped. And I broke out my phone I actually opened the Onyx backcountry app and checked, and I was not on the trail at all. And thank God that I had used Onyx, who actually they're today's video sponsor. Thank God that I'd actually downloaded the offline area and could access it without service, because it was a pretty remote area, and if I hadn't downloaded it ahead of time, then I wouldn't have had the map on my phone. And I also had already planned out the route that I was doing for this solo overnighter. Nobody out there to help me. It's just me figuring it out. It's getting dark, and you know, I'm depending on myself. So ahead of time, I'd actually went on Onyx's website, which I will link in the description, and I'd planned out my trip. And you know, I had it on my phone, I'd already downloaded it, and it was as simple as just clicking my GPS location on the app in order to figure out where the trail was. So I had to backtrack, and I finally found where I was supposed to turn at. But huge shout out to Onyx for making all that possible for me. If you are interested in using Onyx, it's not just to plan your routes. You can actually find new routes in your area by using the Discover tab and searching. It's available online and on the app. If you do download it and you sign up, make sure you use the code JS20 to get 20% off. If you want to get on there and check it out, it is absolutely awesome. There's different layers for the map, so you know, you can do a satellite or topographic or a hybrid view, or maybe you want to see three-dimensional, so you can click on that on your phone or on the website and kind of see the terrain. And they even have it color coordinated, so while you're on trail, you can see green. That's like the easy stuff that you're going to do. Yellow, it's starting to get more difficult, and then red. now you got some hard trail in front of you. So I would highly encourage you to check out Onyx Backcountry and see if you enjoy it, and use the code JS20 and get that discount. And make sure you're keeping your navigational skills on point, unlike me. It is nice to have the app, so I have a backup plan even whenever I make my wrong turns. Now, the fifth thing that nobody tells you about backpacking, it makes me pretty sad. I fell in love with backpacking, and I want other people to love it too. And I watch these videos of these immaculate, amazing thru hiking journeys, and these people are out here and they're meeting lifelong friends or meeting their future spouse or what have you. And like I said, I absolutely fell in love with it, but something that nobody tells you is you might not fall in love with backpacking. You know, you might want to buy some budget gear when you're first starting out, because you may not love it. You know, I got my wife all of this gear, and she still goes with me sometimes, but it's not her passion like mine. So I know that some people make some amazing videos and take you along for the ride, and it looks glorious. But you might be the type of person that needs a shower every day and don't want to get out there nasty and dirty. You know, you don't want those blisters on your feet, or to have some type 2 fun, or to live a bit uncomfortably. And that's okay. You know, you live life the way that you want to do it. But just keep in mind, you may not become as addicted to backpacking as you think you might be. I am excited for you to get out there and try it though, so make sure that you do. The sixth thing that nobody tells you about backpacking is water can get very, very boring. Now, I'll tell you, I did thru hike the Long Trail in Vermont, and it took me about a month, and drinking water with every single meal, every single day, while I'm out in the woods, it wears on you. So if you want, you can take something with you, like maybe you really love pop, or maybe you want an adult beverage, you can take those with you. Another cheap alternative is, like, this is sweetened tea made with stevia, or a lot of people like these Mios. They come in a squirt bottle, so you just squirt however much you want into your bottle after you filter some water in it. One thing I really love are these Noon tablets, and this flavor is strawberry melon. They got all kinds of different flavors. I'll link everything I'm talking about today in the description below, so if you want to order you some or whatever, you can. But these things have electrolytes in them. You can get them with caffeine. I don't go with the caffeine ones, but they can hype you up and kind of reset, you know, the internals where you get a little dehydrated while you're walking out there. Also, you can get flavor packets. Now, this is actually a Folgers instant coffee, which isn't the greatest thing. So if you're a coffee drinker, you can take something like that, or just like the Tear Off like Crystal Lights. Or hot chocolate. Hot chocolate is so great on those cold nights. Also evaporated milk. You know, if you take something like granola, you can almost have cereal out there. Heck, you can take cereal if you want to. And then my wife, she likes to take these little coffee creamers with her, which I think is extra weight. I'd rather just take some like hot chocolate or something like that, maybe a breakfast essential to put in a coffee in the morning. But hey, you do you. The seventh thing that nobody tells you about backpacking is these things aren't exactly trash. Now, a bunch of people are going to tell you, hey, you don't need a Rambo knife. And I've said that in the past. You don't need a Rambo knife. This knife is actually by Mora Knives, and it is full tang, which means that the blade goes all the way down to the end of the handle. This thing can be an absolute game changer and lifesaver, especially in the wintertime. If you're a fan of doing some wintertime backpacking, or maybe you live up north and right now you're probably already getting snow, even though it's like 80 degrees where I live. These things are awesome for all kinds of different things, especially when it comes to fire. So like this is just long enough that you can take and split wood with it. You know, if it's wet out there, you want to get into some of that dry wood in the middle of a long piece, you can pair that with the saw and you have the perfect setup for no matter the conditions, you can still start a fire. So if you've never tried your Rambo knife out in the backcountry, you know, these things can be absolutely awesome under the right circumstances. Am I going to take this in the dead of summer? Probably not. I don't really need it, but maybe if I got a big old fat steak and I need to cut through it, that would be the right fit. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, give me one of these, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell for the latest notifications. We'll see you in the next one.